Hey everybody! Sorry the video's late, but I had a little situation here and things got a bit out of hand. But now I've got a big party coming up and everyone knows ain't no party like a sausage party. So today I'm making these delicious, spicy, all chicken smoked sausages that everyone's gonna love. So let's get started. We've got our big crawdad boil coming up, so I got to make the sausage, but I am in recovery and not quite able to use this hand that I'm getting repaired. So I'm bringing in a sausage squire. Choose your weapon. Very good. To test your knife skills, I will need all this chicken cut into quarters. Go ahead and grab some chicken. I want to cut it down the middle once.
Right here?
Yeah. All the way through. Push right down through the middle. It's a very sharp knife because the only good knife is a sharp knife. Now cut that in half. Upgrade. For the recipe today, we're going to be using all chicken thighs, and when I use chicken thighs, I like to use half with the skin on, half with the skin off, and that gives me just about the right fat balance. And while the squire is working on cutting up this chicken, for me, it's thyme plucking time.
Hopefully Gordon Ramsay does not watch this stuff. He does?
Well. All good. I don't see any blood on the board. And the chicken's all ready, so now it's time to unleash gnarls and grind this up. Well, I've sent the apprentice to go scrape the smoker, but I think I can handle this from here, and the first thing I'm going to do is weigh up this meat. That's just about 12 pounds. We'll call it 12 pounds, just under 5.5 kilos. So now it's time to do a little math and work up the spice bill. So for the crawdad boil and any seafood boil, I like a nice spicy smoked sausage with a lot of garlic. So I'm going to be using a lot of different kinds of pepper here today and some fresh garlic. So let's take a look at the spices, starting with the salt, and I'm going with 2% salt content. So for my 12 pounds, this is 109 grams of plain salt. This is some large grained sea salt, but any plain non-iodized salt will work. And I'm using metric measurements, but I will standardize these measurements in the recipe down below in the description. Now, a little sweetness goes nice with chicken and with smoke, so I'm gonna use the same amount of sugar as salt, 2%, so this is 109 grams of some white sugar. And now for my pepper palette. I'm gonna be using a lot of paprika here. This is 35 grams of sweet paprika. I've got 15 grams of fresh ground black pepper, and this is 15 grams of Aleppo pepper flakes. They got a great pepper flavor, but they're not hot, but they look really great in the sausage, and I love putting them in there. You could use some crushed chili flake in there, but that's gonna be a lot spicier, so keep that in mind when you're figuring out how much you wanna put in there. But for heat, I do have some cayenne pepper, and this is 5 grams of ground cayenne. And here is that fresh thyme that I just picked, and I always use fresh thyme because I despise dried thyme. And that is 3 grams of that. And that's pretty powerful stuff, so I think that 3 grams will be enough. But with the thyme and all these spices, how much you put in there is really up to you. As long as you get your salt content right, you can play around with these spices and create your own unique and delicious sausages, and that is why we do it. And now I've got 7 cloves of fresh garlic, and that weighs 20 grams. It's just gonna be pretty garlicky. And this is my binder. This is 120 grams of non-fat powdered milk. Just regular grocery store stuff. And I'll need a little liquid to help mix this all together. And I'm just gonna use a nice light flavored beer for that. And I'll use 200 milliliters, which is just a little over 3/4 of a cup.
Because I'm having a party.
And the last ingredient is gonna be the cure. This is some pink curing salt, number 1. This is a preservative. This is gonna kill any harmful bacteria in here, and it's also gonna help preserve the color of this and make this nice and red. And to figure the amount of cure, I'm gonna take the weight of the meat plus the weight of all these other ingredients in grams. I'll multiply that by 0.25%, and that will give me the amount in grams of pink cure number 1 to use. So for this recipe, that happens to be 15 grams. And that was 2.5 teaspoons. And now I'll mix all my dry ingredients together. Apart from the cure, those a good shake. And I'm gonna blend the garlic and the cure right into that beer, right into that beer to give them a head start and to really puree that garlic, make it nice and fine. I've got my cold meat and my hot spice. Now let's break out Big Lady B and beat this brat. There we go. Whether you're mixing it by hand or with a manual mixer or with a big old Beatrix like this one, once your meat mix gets really nice and sticky, you've gotten good protein extraction, and that means your sausage is gonna bind together really well and you're good to go. And now this goes into the refrigerator overnight to let the cure work its magic. And we'll be back here bright and early on another Sausage Sunday to stuff and smoke this one. Back again bright and early on another beautiful Sausage Sunday. My chicken has been curing in the refrigerator overnight. I've got some natural hog casings that are soaked and ready to go Got the hand cleaned up and it's already feeling much better. And that's just something that's been bugging me for a couple of years, and they just had to get in there and kind of zap out the problem area. It did leave a pretty good sized cut, but that's supposed to get better very quickly, so no worries there.
If it's no big deal, why all the whinging about it?
Take it easy, Corn Pop.
Wow. Such a mighty king.
Sheesh.
Sausage king. Ha.
Whatever.
Suck it up and make the sausage already.
So now it's time to lock and load and crank out this cock-a-doodle dog. Into the sausage closet, and the first stage of smoking the sausage today is going to be to dry the casings off in here. So I'm just going to leave them in the sausage closet with the fan on them. Give them about an hour to dry those casings out, and then we'll move them out and into the smoker. After those casings get nice and dry, it's time to move them out and into the smoker. I'm going to be running apple wood for these chicken sausages today, and I do have some water down in the water pan. And we'll be starting these off at a pretty low temperature of 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And the smoke schedule today is going to be 1 hour at that 130 degree temperature, then about an hour at 140 degrees, and then I'll raise the temperature to 150 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'll hold them there for 2 hours or longer. I'll just kind of judge them by color and firmness and decide when they're about where I like them before raising the temperature to 180 degrees Fahrenheit to finish cooking them. And I hope I can get these done fairly quickly today, because it is going to be over 100 degrees out here this afternoon, and I don't want to be hanging out here too long. It also is difficult to control the temperature of this smoker when it gets that hot out here. And my 4-hour smoke time is done. These are looking pretty good. They got some nice color on them. A lot of times I'll let them smoke down to low temperatures for even longer, but that's completely subjective. Depends on how smoky you like your sausage. But I'm on a tight schedule today, so I'm going to go ahead and finish these up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a temperature probe down into the center of one of these. Then I'm going to raise the temperature of the smoker up to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to pull these when they hit an internal temperature between 152 and 160 degrees Fahrenheit. That's going to be the sweet spot. You don't want to go above that, or the fat's going to start to melt and run out of these. Ooh. Well, that took about an hour to get to that internal temperature of 155. So these are now done. They got a really nice sort of mahogany color to them. Nice fatties there. That one's a little droopy. But now you want to get those things cooled down very quickly to stop any carryover cooking, and that'll stop them from shriveling up. So you're going to get them right down into an ice bath. You're just going to leave them down in there for 10 minutes or so to get that cooled down in the center. Oh yeah, check out those danglers. Looks like Corn Pop missed a couple of air pockets right there.
Oi.
But other than that, these things look great and they smell incredible. And the last thing to do is to just let them hang out and air dry. And once those casings are nice and dry, they're ready to pack up and refrigerate or freeze and then use at your leisure. And I can hardly wait to try these out. Looks pretty good, and they smell awesome. Let's take a quick look at the grain in these. Oh yeah, not too shabby. Looks just about as good as any pork sausage I've ever made. But now, it's party time. Oh, yeah! Check that out! Now let's see how we did. Check out that bite. Oh yeah. Oh, that is good. Now that is just about as good as a smoked chicken sausage is gonna get. It's got just a little bit of bite to it, not too much. A little bit of sweetness from that sugar goes really well with chicken. And just the right amount of smoke on this thing. That is fantastic sausage, and it works perfectly with this boil. Well, it's been a long day of catching and cooking these crawdads, but now it is time to kick back and party. I got a big crowd out there, and they are raving about this sausage. So it's time for me to get out there and have the time of my life. And hopefully, whatever you're up to, you're having the time of your life too. Thanks for watching. Mm.